Okay, everyone. It's time!
Woo!
For the good ending. The true good ending. I thought about who I should bring to the show this time. Thinking about it set off a vivid image in my mind of the fireworks I'd seen before, exploding in patterns and illuminating the night sky. Suddenly, memories of my many attempts burst forth like the fireworks themselves, all the different things that had happened, the people I met, and also my many confrontations with Reza. I remembered everything.
Not sure what to say to this.
Well, the science behind the time traveling is actually sound and doesn't contradict anything we know about the portal. I can't say the same about the theory with the wormholes and barriers, though.
It does confirm what my roommate has been learning, and my own experience. I can't believe this all happened to you, Horny.
The proof speaks for itself, really. Not sure about this. It all sounds so...
I know, Bryce. Time traveling is only something that happens in bad science fiction novels, right?
And I thought this was going to be some sort of intervention.
I've already given you proof regarding the time travel. You don't just have to believe me about the rest, though. All of you have evaded peril because of this phenomenon. Think of times when you suddenly changed your mind because of what you thought might happen. If you had memories of things that never happened or dreams that later turned out to be true, you've experienced it as well. And some of those nightmares, yeah, those have happened too.
Are you saying that if I had flown during the competition, I would have died?
I remember things from timelines where I died. The same must be true for all of you. It's not just your imagination.
This is nice and all, but why did you call us here? I mean, what's the point of telling us all this?
I know where Reza's gonna be in a few hours. The 5 of you are the people I've gotten to know best in the time I spent here. Maybe you can even remember some of the things we've done together in other timelines.
And only one of them voiced by him.
Now I need your help to stop him.
Why didn't you just call the police about this? You wouldn't even need to tell them about all the time travel and such.
This case was already getting too big for us. And we still haven't gotten the reinforcements we requested from the city. With the fireworks going on tonight, we really wouldn't have anyone to spare.
You want us to stop him? Oh, that sounds dangerous.
He's killed at least 4 people so far, right? And let's not forget he still has this weapon. What's in it for me? Having a part of stopping a murder would probably get you a civil honour. Wouldn't exactly look great on us to give someone a medal and throw them into prison the next day. Just saying.
Knowing Emera, she'd probably make a big parade out of it. Have her pardoned.
Sounds like a deal to me. Of course you'd only help for your own good. At least I consider my options instead of following someone blindly. When he tells you to fly, and you ask how high. I'm reading so many characters. Honey has called us to stop Reza. And if we want to make this happen, we should probably start making a plan.
Agreed.
Same here.
So, where's he going to be?
In the underground building near the portal. He'll try to steal its generator.
I see.
Previously, I only realized where he was once he was already inside. This time we can think about the best way to stop him.
If we're just going to storm the place, I should probably go first. For one, I'm a professional. and what's more, I'm also an Earth Dragon. That makes me a good cop, virtually unkillable by any would-be criminals.
I wouldn't be so sure of that.
What's that supposed to mean? Well, all of us together should have no trouble taking him down. I don't want to kill him if we don't have to. Yeah, as a chief, I agree.
Even if we outnumber him, let's not forget about his weapon. Our first goal should be to disarm him somehow.
How can we do that?
Well, I've got a shocker at home. Hit him with that, and I doubt he'd be able to hold anything for a while. And we could cuff him after that. I'll show you how to do it. Actually, I'll let each one of you have a pair just in case. You don't have to bring one for me. I don't think I'll be able to use them. Don't worry about it. They were designed with flyers in mind. It's really easy to cuff someone if you know how.
Well, if you say so.
Okay, we've got a shocker and some handcuffs, but that isn't much of a plan. What are we gonna do? Wait for Reza to arrive and then all try to cuff him at once?
Maybe you should go alone.
Yeah, I'm sure Horny called us all here only to confront Reza alone in the end.
What are you talking about?
Well, if you want to get him with the shocker, your best chance is to surprise him after you've gained his trust. You may think it is safer that if we're all there because we outnumber him, but in reality, this will likely provoke an aggressive reaction the instant he sees us all.
I agree. You may not be able to talk him down, but in the end, you only need to get close enough to hit him with the shocker.
I think he's frightened, feeling like an alien in this world. Maybe that's how he could become a killer, by seeing us as something foreign or lesser.
But I've tried doing that before, with one of you staying in hiding until things were about to go wrong. That usually didn't work out as well as it should have.
Because your approach with him was wrong. You tried to talk him down or distract him while help arrived.
What should I do then?
Go there before Reza arrives and act like you were going to steal the generator yourself. Carry it together, and as soon as you're outside, surprise him with a shocker and cuff him. Meanwhile, all of us will be hiding in the area and watch you to ensure that nothing goes wrong.
That sounds pretty good. How'd you come up with that?
I read something similar in a book once.
I see.
Wasn't that in one of the Sheridan books?
Ugh. No comment.
Any other opinions about this plan?
I couldn't think of anything better if I tried. Do you think you can really pull it off, Warnie?
I'll have to.
You better get ready then. I'll have to fetch the cuffs from the department and Anna should get her shocker. I'll also have to make a phone call before I go.
A phone call?
Yeah, to tell Sebastian not to come in for a shift today.
You'll finally not die.
Finally, we've saved him!
While we waited for Bryce and Anna to return, Lorem, Adine and Remy stayed in my apartment and made lunch for everyone. After we were all reunited, Bryce showed us how to use the disposable plastic handcuffs he bought. As they were designed to even constrain an earth dragon like Bryce, they were nigh impossible to tear.
And then you just pull here until they're tight enough so you won't be able to pull his wrists out.
Got it.
Does anyone need help? How about you two?
No, I got it.
You were right, it's pretty easy if you know how.
Alright, we've got some more time before we're leaving.
Guess we could just sit around and wait.
The calm before the storm.
By the way, how's the investigation about me coming along, Bryce?
That's not something we should talk about right now.
Besides, I've been busy with the whole Reza thing, so... Of course you can't tell me anything. I suppose I won't even know when you people will suddenly decide to take me in. Hey, it's not my fault you violated the conditions of your suspended sentence. I'm just following protocol. I better get paranoid for doing this or else.
Pardoned.
I better get pardoned for doing this or else. Okay. Or else what? I might as well go through the portal myself. If I just end up getting arrested here. Just saying. If you don't want to stay here, maybe you should go right now. Hey, I'm all for helping Horny. I just want to make sure I'm covered as well. If what I've read about her is true, then maybe she shouldn't get pardoned. Don't believe everything you read in those tabloids. I can confirm, they don't know anything. You don't know the whole story either. Does that mean you've lied under oath? Maybe I should reconsider this pardon thing. See, that's what I mean. She only cares about herself. My research has saved thousands of lives, if not millions. What did you ever do for the community? I volunteered at the orphanage. And what's more, I do that just to help them, not for my own gain. Why does she have to be the only one who gets something out of this? Well, all of us will probably get a medal.
This isn't really the kind of discussion we should be having right now.
Anna, if you've lied under oath, then that's something I can't just forget. What are you going to do about it? I'll make you a deal. You tell us right now what really happened back then. And you'll have my support when it comes to being pardoned and for helping Horny stop Reza. How does that sound? We don't even need her help. She can just leave as far as I'm concerned. They really don't like each other.
Yeah.
Oh my god, shouldn't we stop this?
Out of your mind? Let's throw some jello on them.
If I'm going, I'll take my shocker with me.
Don't do that.
I want to know what happened.
You'd rather know and let her walk? She's already being investigated. Let the wheels of justice do their work. See, Horny, I can't just catch a break with these people, even when I'm here to help you.
She may walk away. This infraction was so tiny that she may put a spin on that makes her look like just like the victim, just like last time. If she tells us what really happened, that's something we'll always know about her, and how can we be sure she won't do anything like it again?
So, now you're planning to resort to blackmail. You know what? Do whatever the heck you want. I don't care. Just make up your damn minds.
I want to know.
Me too. 11? 18?
I don't like this.
Yeah. Alright, let's hear it. The majority has spoken. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Why is it all about,
Anna.
Yeah. It all started when I decided to look for new angles to tackle cancer. Since I occasionally work with the police, I got a phone call that they received the victim of some sort of accident. As the victim had no family or relatives, there was no way one could object to her body being used for research purposes. Usually, this wouldn't be anything special, but she wasn't just your usual victim. She was pregnant. For me, this opened up a lot of possibilities. Usually the council wouldn't allow fertilized eggs to be used for research. But here we were talking about a few fertilized egg cells that hadn't even formed an eggshell yet. They would have perished quickly if I hadn't noticed that she was technically pregnant. I submitted my form for the research and started my work. Since the material was very sensitive, there wasn't really time to wait for approval, as I would have put the whole experiment at risk. Either way, I was sure the paperwork would go through, and I had other things to worry about than what some busybodies would think about my work. I've done so much reading in this ending! My approach was to tinker with the fertilized egg cell's DNA in order to create a living organism whose immune system would be strong enough to combat cancer all on its own. Once it hatched, I could make a few transplants. A new way to fight cancer would be born. In order to ensure compatibility with myself, I spliced some of my own DNA. Enough that it would be considered a member of my own species rather than the parents.
Oh, that's a bit dodgy, ain't it?
Yeah. The result of my experience was incubated in an artificial eggshell. And then it was just a matter of time before it grew and we could see if the procedure was a success. For some reason or another, however, my proposal became a public matter. Proposals like mine that needed the council's approval could be seen by anyone and were open to discourse. But people usually don't care about them unless they have some experience in the field. Not so in my case. Only the media got a hold of it. Rumors ran amok about this and what I was going to do. People fixated on small details and exaggerated the procedures outlined in the experiment. Self-appointed do-gooders who thrive on outrage made a smear campaign against me, and due to all of the ensuing controversy, my proposal was ultimately rejected. It was already a shame that the experiment like mine, one that could help countless patients, both current and future, could be shut down like this. But there was more. Some people were watching me, and they knew I was doing something in my lab. A group of council-approved scientists were going to come to my lab to discuss alternate strategies for what I was trying to do, but I knew it was partly a setup in order to check that everything that was going on in my lab was legitimate. At this point, the egg was already substantially developed. Knowing of their visit and that my experiment was now illegal, I had to get rid of it somehow. I would have smashed it if I could, but the fetus inside was already too big to make it vanish easily. In the end, I decided to leave it on someone's doorstep, disguised as an egg left by unwanted parents. But the whole affair got the police department in a lot of trouble too, because it was us who gave you the material. Don't you have a single shred of decency within you?
Now, let's not have any arguments here.
I could have done much worse than leaving it on someone's doorstep. Besides, don't expect any goodwill from me if you never showed up any either. Hey, we're on your side during the whole thing, remember? Yeah, but only because I've saved your ass more times than I can count. No one, not a single person, has ever been nice to me just for the heck of it, except for Horny. Leaving an egg on someone's doorstep is such a horrible thing to do.
And smashing it would be better.
Like you would have done anything different in my position. I would have owed up to my mistakes, because I know how these children end up. How they have to grow up and they don't get adopted within a few years, doomed to be nobody's children. You spliced your own DNA in, so you're basically its mother. Yet you didn't hesitate to throw your child away when it became an inconvenience for you. Actually, it's more of a clone than a child. Did it even have a name? Or was it just a product for you, a failed experiment? Well, she did have a name. I even scribbled it on her egg shell before I left it. Wait a minute. It would have been around the same time, but... No, it can't be. What was the name? Why would you even care? They probably found her, she went to a nice family and lived happily ever after. End of story. What was her name? Well, if you really want to know, it was Amelie.
Oh, shit!
I know her. She's been living in the orphanage all her life, while you went on with yours without a care in the world.
Why even that name?
After the mother, I guess. Now that you mention it, I think the victim's name was a bit different. Amelia. That was it. Crossed to death during a winter night, if I recall. Oh my god!
Shit!
Oh my god!
Fucking hell!
What?
Remy, I never told you this, but shortly after she died, Amelia
Shortly
found
after?
Shortly before she died, I'm a bit confuzzled. Amelia found out that she was pregnant. That means you...
Behold, the newest TV show. Ghost Pregnancy! With
Oh
dragons!
my god! So this is how they're trying to connect it all. Oh my god.
Where is she?
Don't worry, Remy. She's been taken care of in the orphanage. We can go there once this is over.
No, I want to go there right now.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Yeah, if you're going to meet her, it'll take some preparation and you shouldn't see her when you're like this. Besides, we should be focusing on Reza right now.
Agreed!
You're right, this is more important.
think it's time to go anyway.
Alright, let's do this. Oh shit! So they're all connected in the great circle of life.
Except Logan.
Circle of life. Yeah, he's just the freaky hermaphrodite corner. Poor baby.
Soon we arrived at our destination and everyone chose their hiding places. It wasn't easy, especially since we didn't know where Reza would come from. With a bit of scouting help from Adine, they all found suitable places eventually.
They're all just very obvious.
I went inside, trying to remember the room the generator was in. Luckily, I had plenty of time, and when I found it, I packed it up in a cardboard box that was lying around, just as Reza had done so many times before. Then I waited, knowing of the various conversations we had had in other timelines when we met here.
What various conversations?
I could think about what I was going to say, and what his likely response would be. I found it difficult, found it interesting, but this time, I could be the one who was there first. After a while, I heard footsteps outside. As if on cue, I took the box with the generator and opened the door. Reza, you're here? You don't know how glad I am to see you. I wanted to talk with you for so long. Where have you been all this time?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Talking can wait. Now that you're here, we've got everything. Come on, help me with this and let's get out of here. Reza walked up to me and grabbed the other end of the box. Slowly, we made our way through the building.
I can't wait to get out of this place. Gives me the creeps.
How so?
Ever since I arrived here, a lot of weird things have happened. I don't like it.
What are you talking about?
Something strange is going on in this world. When I close my eyes, I see things. Things that never happened. Things that later turned out to be true. Do you know what I'm talking about? So you do? How is that possible?
I don't know, Reza.
I had my own reasons for coming here today. I knew it now would be the best time to take the generator and leave through the portal. What about you? They aren't looking for you too, are they?
No, they believe I'm on their side.
Then, what are you doing here?
I had a feeling you'd be there. Figured it out just like you did. We can't wait for them to build us new generators. Considering they took the PDAs and generators back from you, it's more than fair that we take this as payment and be done with it.
Wait a minute.
What is it?
Something's not right here. Ah.
Suddenly, he let go of the box, making me put it down. He took a few steps back before he grabbed his gun and pointed at me. Reza, what's wrong with you?
How could you even know the time I was going to be here?
Because of the fireworks. We both know they give us the perfect cover to do this now.
No, that's not it. We've both been here before. I remember us carrying out that box together, and that time you killed me with my own gun.
Reza, what are you talking about?
It's all coming back to me now. There's not been a single time where you actually wanted to help me. That girl with the mask, where is she? There she is.
Reza turned around just in time to see the administrator tackle him to the ground. I ran towards them, but in their scuffle, a few gunshots unloaded. The telltale hiss of the generator sounded through the hallway. I turned around and ran towards the exit while both Reza and the administrator scrambled to their feet and followed me. When we were all outside, I was swept off my feet as the generator exploded. Recovering from the fall, I looked up, only to see Reza running towards the portal.
Whee! I got him, that worked!
Adine swooped in from behind and collided with Reza. He stumbled and fell to the ground while Adine regained her balance and ascended, attempting a circle to face him again.
Maverick!
Reza stood up and raised his gun at her when Maverick suddenly pounced out of nowhere and pinned him to the ground. Bryce was running towards them when Maverick looked at Reza, growling.
Don't kill him, Maverick! And why not? After what he's done to you, you're not letting him off the hook that easily, are you? Let me cuff him. Go ahead.
When I
That's
arrived,
a different picture.
Reza was already secured and ready to go. He spotted me, his face contorting with anger.
You, how could you do this to me? To everyone? You have no idea what I had to go through here to get this close to... of bringing the generator home into our people. If you would only help me instead of them, we could have done it too. Where were you when the bastard of a dragon bit me? When I couldn't do anything but lie around in pain the whole day with a festering wound, huh? And when I waited for you with the portal a week ago, ready to leave with parts, I stole to repair it. When I shot my gun a few times, hoping you'd hear, so we could escape together. I risked everything when I waited for you. Maverick nearly got me that time too. I could have left without you if I wanted. I had everything I needed, but I didn't want to leave you behind. Should I shut him up?
No, let him talk.
You said we would do anything, that together we could save humanity. All those teleportations messing with our heads. Don't you remember our plan?
I never forgot about our plan, Reza. I just wanted the dragons to be part of it too.
What are you gonna do now, huh?
You'll see. Humanity's gonna be fine, and so are you. Take him away, Bryce.
Just want to know one thing. Who really sabotaged the portal? That was me. I knew it was Reza who was stealing the generators. So the least I could do was prevent him from sending them to humanity and escaping through the portal. As long as it didn't run, he could never completely get away from us. Say it. You're right about nearly everything, Maverick. Not just about Horny.
No, just not.
Not just not about Horny. Sorry. Still, it took an extraordinary amount of bravery and courage to do what you did. Who knows how all of this would have turned out if it wasn't for you. It feels so strange to me now. Just like I just had to follow Reza, that I even knew where to go and where I would find him. I followed my intuition, but the longer I kept pursuing him, the more I thought I was going crazy, and that I might mean I end up if I decided to go down this path.
Mira, it wasn't just your intuition.
Come on, do you want to help me show Reza his new cell? It'll be my pleasure.
Just as they went off with Reza, I saw Remy and Logan approaching.
Oh!
Izumi was leaning against Remy while they walked up to us together. Her overall was bearing a large red stain in the center.
Her hair's different again.
She does help fast.
I tried to give her some first aid, but I don't think it did much.
Based on these wounds, I'm not sure if anyone can help her now. She's right. I won't be around much longer. There's still things I need to tell and show you, Horny.
Maybe I could carry you.
No, we have to go alone.
Alright, can you all wait for me here?
Sure?
Please, just don't start arguing again.
There would be no point to that now we've stopped Reza. It's all good.
She actually managed to convince Maverick not to kill him. Ex-boyfriend, and he still listens to me. Isn't that funny? I could tell you and Amelie. I could tell you about Amelie while we wait.
That would be lovely.
You did want to be a dad. I remember that. Aww. Now what?
What does Izumi
We're
want
in the
to tell
forest
us?
again.
Izumi led the way as we walked through unfamiliar territory.
No, we've been here. Maybe I should start by telling you that I haven't been exactly truthful with you.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it's fine.
Still, now that we're here, I think I should tell you everything. Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Again! I gotta do it again! When I was accidentally sent back in time, I wasn't alone.
What are you talking about?
Did you really think a single person could have accomplished everything I told you about, and single-handedly figure out time travel along the way?
This explains the different hair colors.
We were an elite team, sent to break new ground. There were 4 of us.
Oh?
Heinz Foreman,
Geneticist.
geneticist and project lead. Sybil Thomas, behavior specialist. Francois Bordelon, military advisor. And lastly, Otomo Izumi, engineer and maintenance crew.
Only engineer?
Brown hair. Oh god.
Sybil. That's the girl.
Yeah. We've done so many voices! Okay, I'll voice those two, you voice those. Okay, I gotta think of a voice.
New voices even to the end.
Well, I can do Irish. Have I done that yet? I need to.
Sure, go ahead.
This is the kind of job that is so top secret that I wouldn't be surprised if we were all killed after we hand over the data. Good thing we're not expendable, huh?
Francois was the black guy?
The black guy, and that sounds so French. You can't do French.
What kind of voice should I do for him?
You could do. Well, you could do stereotypical. You could do very French.
Well, he's a military guy.
You can't do a like.
You think they're sending us into the middle of nowhere without seeing us as expendable? Heinz.
German, yeah? You can't do German
No,
either.
I can't. Do you want to make him German?
Then I'd be voicing all of them. Let's make it equal.
Well, you're
now.
not voicing all of them.
I'm voicing 2, and I don't want to voice 3. We voice 2 each. Go,
Okay.
find something.
So he's the scientist fella.
Well, he looks kind of evil.
People, please. First of all, you were briefed about this, so you should already know what your duties will be. I'm sure all of you are well qualified to perform as expected. But let's get to what this project is really about. Does anyone want to make a guess? Since I'm here, it can only mean something with military applications. Good guess. Miss Thomas?
Does it have anything to do with PTSD, perchance?
Well, not quite. How about you, Mr. Tomo?
I have no idea. Just get to the point, please.
Let me sum this up in one sentence. Intelligent, trainable bioweapons as low-cost alternative to mechanized weaponry in developing countries. Interesting, very interesting. Now, this conundrum we find ourselves in might actually work out in our favor. Since we are outside of any jurisdiction now, that means we can do whatever we want during this little project of ours. Just think of the opportunities.
You intend to utilize human DNA in this project, don't you?
I thought they would do that anyway and pay off whichever country we would find ourselves in. Yes, but now we won't even have to do that anymore.
It will take me a while to repair all the damage and re-establish communications with the company. Until then, we're kind of stuck here.
Who says we need to wait until then?
Don't know. I don't think they'd like it if we just went ahead with the project before they even know what happened to us. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. That's how you end up in jail.
What else are we supposed to do while we're here? If worst comes to worst, we can just destroy the results. Heck, if this works out, we are the only ones who have a portal into the past like this. It could be only the first of many incredible opportunities. Think about all the animals we could use, the raw materials and plants, even the atmosphere. I can already smell all the rare gases here that we could harvest.
I think that's just the ventilation system being wonky. I haven't had the time to adjust it yet. You're only thinking about the company. What about us?
Ah, God, I've lost this guy's voice already. Already thinking about mutiny? I think that would be a bad idea.
I thought our salary already contained an eternal loyalty and silence bonus.
That's the thing with greed. People always crave more, regardless of how much they already have. All this discussion is pointless. I am the team lead. I decide we do this.
As long as you take responsibility for if there are any troubles.
I know what the company wants, and I say this will make them more than just happy. In a few years, you will thank me for it. Trust me.
If you say so. If we're going to make bioweapons, what animals would we have based base them on if we didn't end up here?
The great thing is that we don't have to choose.
Oh!
We already have the technology that does all that work for us. We just need to provide the samples, and based on our criteria, we get a customized genome that fits our purposes best as possible.
Do you want to give them human intelligence?
Why wouldn't we give them as much intelligence as we can?
They're all weapons!
We already knew this.
Oh, but, if they can think too advanced, too abstract, don't you think they might start to have independent thoughts? How are we going to control them?
That's what Miss Thomas and Miss Bordelon are here for. With the right training. What?
You just put Miss and Miss.
Miss Thomas and Mr. Bordelon.
Okay.
With the right training, it shouldn't be an issue. Besides, you know that most human soldiers are obedient, right?
I suppose so. How do we know this is going to work with dinosaur DNA as well?
We will find out soon enough. Should we? That is not a question we ask at this company. You should know that by now. Have you never seen Jurassic Park? It's my favorite movie.
Okay. If you want to see Jurassic Park, you only need to open that door.
You will soon find that all your concerns are unfounded, and I'll show you why. But first, let me talk about abilities. Now that we have a whole new world, of potential samples, we should be able to find even better alternatives to what we have been planning. What abilities would those be? Flight, armor, fire, to name a few.
All at once? Sounds an awful lot like dragons.
Dragons are scary, aren't they? This could even be a psychological component. To be fair, getting all those into the same species could be complicated. You think you can do something nature couldn't? That's why we're here.
What animals is the fire ability based on?
The bombardier beetle. They're going to make the mechanism safer and easier to control.
Alright, so we're going to combine animal strengths with higher cognitive abilities. But how are you going to prevent others from stealing the genome? Got there in the end. I'm only a blonde, you gotta forgive me. Backyard breeders could be a problem.
A very good question. There are a number of safeguards we are going to introduce to prevent any unauthorized copying of our product. Firstly, there's the genome itself. Raising these creatures from infancy to a point where they become usable for their purpose will take some time. Since we are going to do this ourselves, we have a unique blend of hormones to make them reach this stage fairly quickly. Making them grow up naturally is something that will take so much time and resources as to become unviable by anyone who would want to go that route. With us, they can be combat ready in months instead of years. Secondly, all creatures will be equipped with a brain implant. Not only will this give them a variety of advantages, but it's another safeguard against copying as well. Without the chip, they will either become uncontrollable or die. So even if the genome is stolen, that won't be worth anything without the chip.
That's genius.
I know. Couldn't someone just hack or reverse engineer the chip and manufacture it themselves? I doubt it. They're intended to be sold in low technology areas. Even if they can reverse engineer the chip, they don't have the facilities to mass manufacture them. Otherwise, they'd just be using combat robots like everyone else. You want to modify their behavior with technology? Being dependent on a chip sounds dangerous. What if it fails? Don't worry about that. Lastly, there is the training. Training any living being, no matter if human or not, takes time and money. Not only do we have an automated training program, but we can also use the implant to accelerate this process.
What about direct transference of knowledge into the creature's brains via an implant?
That technology is still in its infancy. If we want to get this product out and into the market as soon as possible, we'll need a solution that works right now.
Fair enough.
It will give the user full control as well. The creatures will be able to learn from experience, but undesirable memories can be wiped easily. Sounds like you have it all figured out already. The company has been working on this project for a long time, and now it's up to us to make it reach its natural conclusion.
And what would that be?
Our product is the creature, the chip, and the training, all in one complete package. Take away just one of these three components and the product won't work as intended. We deliver them ready to be used in combat from the moment they arrive at the customer's doorstep.
I still think we should wait before you rush into using animals that we hardly know anything about.
Your opinion has been noted, Miss Otomo, but it won't carry much weight.
Despite my objections, the experiments under Heinz Foreman went full steam ahead. Using the genetic material of any prehistoric reptiles, a variety of species were designed. We started our tests with the one that enjoyed the most combat-related improvements, measuring their viability and effects for our safeguards. Soon the first proto-dragons were born. One was to be raised as naturally as possible. Another was going to receive the hormones for accelerated growth, while the third one was to be trained via the automated learning program. That one was to receive all of the
the last one.
The last one was to receive all of the safeguards at once. Interruptions, where were we? Okay. They were all identical clones. Caring for them was a task that ultimately fell on all of us, in addition to our usual duties. For now, the artificial domestication process of the genome made sure that they would be controllable and obedient even without the implant of training. They were already being recognized as pack-maters and parents.
Pack-maters?
Pack-mates. And they would have no idea how they were born. And parents by them. While I knew about the added intelligence, I soon had to realize just how far they had gone. It was all when the first of them started talking. At that moment, I knew that they would never be free, never be happy. They would only ever live a life of servitude or be used as weapons. They were given sapience, only to face a future of enslavement. I knew that the company would expertly maneuver around the legal systems to make it possible. As I had worked my way up the ranks within the company, I had become increasingly disillusioned by the many despicable acts projects I witnessed. But now I was at a breaking point, ready to blow the whistle on everything I knew about them. While the experiment continued, they relied on me to repair the portal and return to our time. I could only buy so much time while I figured out how to proceed. I knew that as soon as contact was re-established, I wouldn't be able to stop the project anymore. It was then that I realized I had to do something. Again? You'd think they wouldn't need to send someone to take care of this anymore. It should all be automated by now.
True. We have a robot that can perform any kind of surgery, so we don't need to send a doctor anymore. Why not have a robot that can take care of other robots?
Because I'd be the one to create that robot, and if I did, I'd be out of a job.
By the way, I think the heater in my room is broken. Would you mind taking a look at it later? I could think of a few ways to turn up the heat. A tempting offer that I unfortunately will have to decline, Mr. Bordelon.
Yes, these early meetings.
Anyone else want a cup of coffee? Mr. Tomo, perhaps?
You know I don't drink coffee.
3 cups then, just as usual.
Oh, it took me forever to realize that was a table back there. I thought they were just in a...
Yeah.
I thought they were in an elevator.
It's because they were hiding the chairs.
I thought they were in an elevator or something. I don't know why they even gave us for.
Here you go.
Why even coffee? It's not as if we couldn't just take a pill to get the same effect.
Ah, but then you wouldn't get this lovely taste, Miss Thomas. Can we just get this over with? Of course, of course. Who wants to present their results first? No one? Alright, I suppose it will have to be me. Again. You know what? You should all be glad that everything is recorded and transcribed automatically now. In my days, we actually had to write these reports ourselves.
Hail to our machine overlords.
Can we just get this over with? Of course, Mr. Bordelon. Suddenly, Heinz... Oh wait, you should read this, shouldn't you?
Suddenly, Heinz started coughing. When his fit didn't stop after a few seconds, all of us stood up and Francis went over to him. Heinz keeled over. His eyes opened wildly into an unfocused stare. He stopped moving before a bit of foam started appearing at his mouth. He needs his injector. There should be one in the drawer over there. Quickly, I went to the drawer, grabbed something and ran up to Sybil. That's not it, you stup! Before she could finish her sentence, I drove the scalpel into her neck. She collapsed immediately as blood gushed out of the wound, staining the floor red. She screamed and Francois turned around to see me still holding the scalpel while the bleeding Sybil lay on the ground next to me. I attempted to stab him, but he grabbed my arm and wrestled the scalpel from me, which fell to the floor with an audible clang. He then wrapped his hand around my neck and started to choke me. I fell over backwards as he followed, his hand never leaving my neck in the process. He was now kneeling above me and I found myself becoming weaker by the second. I made peace with the idea that I was going to die. I didn't know what would happen afterwards, to the dragons, to Earth, to everyone. But at least I could say that I tried. When I came to, it was from a feeling, something dripping onto my face before Francois was dragged away from me. Slowly my vision returned. I looked up to see one of the dragons approached me, before it started to lick my face with its blood-stained muzzle. Looks like a boy that way. Doesn't she?
Yeah.
The other designed species were made, and after making some adjustments to the learning program, it taught them what I wanted them to know. I founded the first village and they grew up quickly, knowing only me as their leader. By the time I left, they didn't even need me anymore. They'd become completely self-sufficient. Alright.
So, in the end, you gave them even more than life. You gave them freedom. She sat on the ground, panting heavily.
There should be a shovel over there. Take it and dig.
I did as she asked and began digging a hole in the area she indicated. I wondered what would await me when the shovel hit something hard, and I dug around it, enough in a vaguely round shape. More shapes followed, and as I continued, I eventually realized that I was looking at a body. I lifted it out of its shallow grave before turning it over. It was me. What? Why? How?
You have to understand, there was no other way. Each time you travelled back in time, I had to kill you. Having multiple instances of you would have been troublesome.
I knew there was something wrong with the time travel.
I know! We only needed one of you. One to go through the same scenario over and over again, so that we could learn what to do differently.
So this is your graveyard then? Full of other instances of me?
Not just you, there are also others. And myself.
Others?
Yes, in some timelines, they sent someone else instead of you. She was not a nice person.
Why did they send someone else? They told me I was the best candidate as I was going to offer my own PDA for the trade.
Because in those timelines, you died before you ever had the chance to arrive here. Murdered for that very PDA you gave to the dragons.
How many are there? How many did you bury? How many times have we done this now?
I've lost track a long time ago. How I wish I could forget all that.
You only did what you had to do.
Hey, Horny, do you remember anything about the first time you came here?
Let me think.
Yeah, we were laughing at your name.
You mean when Anna jumped in front of me and sacrificed herself so that I could survive and do what I set out to do?
Then you don't. You only remember the newer timelines. I think it's better this way. I've killed you so many times. Sometimes you did the same to me, or rather a different me. You don't know what it was like when I still had to try and figure everything out. You only remember timelines I had sufficiently tampered with.
What are you trying to tell me?
The first few times, I was just watching you. I could see your intentions were pure, and they were filled with determination, but without my help, you always failed. Everything that happened, from all the murders to the conclusions in the lab, it was all necessary to arrive here. I also needed to show you what kind of person Reza was. You wouldn't have believed me otherwise. Could I have stopped him earlier to save those he killed? I don't know. If I died before I could reveal myself to you, circumstances could have been unfixable. How many times do you think we've tried before we had even the remote possibility to succeed?
I know what you did. I've done it too, remember?
If you didn't step up to the position back then, we probably still would have to figure out a few things.
Sometimes I didn't quite know myself why I had to do the things you told me to. We didn't lure Maverick back to the portal. No, if we didn't lure Maverick to the portal during my first day, the confrontation that set off this whole chain of events wouldn't even happen.
Your meeting with Reza had to be interrupted. Otherwise, he would have told you about his plan that night. And from the ensuing talk, there would only have been two options. Either you would have joined him to save humanity while leaving this world to die, or you would have opposed him, in which case, he did not hesitate to shoot you then and there. We had to do a lot of things to make this happen, didn't we? All those other timelines just to succeed in this one. The others might have failed, but we still learned something from every little mistake we made. And that's how we could arrive here. What will you do now? With the generator gone, we won't be able to stop the comet.
Maybe we don't need to.
What are you talking about?
Back home there are plenty of empty buildings. If the dragons took their generators and technology with them, we could revive all the infrastructure, the hospitals, schools, everything. They can make humanity an offer they won't be able to refuse.
They'll make them an offer they can't refuse.
You want to relocate them? Do you even have any idea how many dragons live here? Sure, they may have never settled on another continent, but we're still talking about millions here.
Even if they won't accept them, they will have safe passage to set up a new city. I don't think it will come to that though. We've plenty of dead infrastructure and room to fill. It could be the very first city of its own kind, with dragons and humans living together. Besides, if we can't stop the comet, this is about as good as it's gonna get.
I know you won't settle on anything less. If this is the only way, then I won't object to this outcome. The thought of humans and dragons living together is one that I think bears a lot of potential.
And Fuzz, the lack of dragon bones is explained.
Yeah. Maybe from the ashes of both civilizations, something new and greater can be created. You don't realize the weight that's been on my shoulders from all the things I had to do to make this work. Now that we're here, I don't think I can continue this existence with these memories in my mind. Now that we have saved them, I can finally rest. Maybe I have to apologize. You were right to want to save humanity too, when both me and Reza only cared for one civilization. You never settled for one. You wanted to save everyone. I guess I was so blinded by wanting to preserve my creation that I refused to see anything else. I'm glad you saw this through to the end. You never stop believing.
If it wasn't for you, I could have never done this.
And now it's on you to make it work. A city of dragons and humans.
I'll try to do my best.
I believe you will. Then I can die happily, knowing that they will be safe and can look to a brighter future.
No, you can't just die now. How am I supposed to do this without you?
Don't be sad for me. I wouldn't have it any other way.
She looks more like a boy than a girl, definitely.
Yeah. Besides, I'm sure you'll do a fine job.
How can you be sure I will?
Because if you don't, I'll hold you responsible for what happens to them, through time and space if necessary.
How can you make jokes at a time like this?
You've only seen what I had to do, not what I wanted to. If we met in a different time, a different place, things could have been very different. I've killed you so many times and put you through so much anguish to make this happen. I've got to sneeze.
Oh, you sneezed blood on my face.
I only long for your forgiveness and understanding. And you can look at what we have achieved now and tell me that it was worth it.
It was.
Thank you. Dead.
She closed her eyes as a single tear ran down her face. I moved to wipe it from her, and could already feel the warmth draining from Azumi's body. She was dead.
Dead.
After being told of the comet and realizing that any of their attempts to stop or redirect it would fail without the lab's generator, the Dragon's Council agreed with my course of action, as did humanity. While the repopulation of our city turned out very differently than humanity had initially hoped, all concerns were naught against the possibility of the vast amounts of technology and generators the dragons would bring to revive it. Soon, the initiative to relocate the dragons through the portal was in full force, and I, still acting as an ambassador, helped as much as I could to make it go as smoothly as possible. After a few weeks, we had done it, and as the last of the dragons from even the furthest regions had arrived at the other side, the time for me had come to walk through the portal for the very last time. I looked back to their village and saw all the abandoned buildings doomed to be destroyed when the comet would hit soon. As I walked up to the platform and waited for the portal to do its starting routine, I thought about what would happen now, and what would come of this collaboration between humans and dragons. I was sure there was a lot of work to be done, especially if I considered the state of the rest of the world, but maybe our city could be a bastion of Earth. Not as the last one remaining, but rather as the first of its kind, and from it, maybe we'd be able to grow and spread our influence. Of the dragon cult. Maybe, together, we can rebuild. Yes, can you just move my statue a bit to the left there? Oh yes, very good. Although, I think the gold's a little bit tarnished. Do you think we should have more diamonds in it?
The true ending!
At last!
3 hours!
Huzzah! We'll probably take a short break and then delve into the secret ending.
If we can manage. I think we will. It's just an extended version of the true ending, is it not?
I'm not sure. I've only looked at vague clues and nothing that says what it actually is.
Okay. Well, we'll see, I suppose.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Oh, Remy got a kid. I do wonder what happened with all of if it worked out, you know? And what about the dragons we were used to? What happened to them?
You mean the ones we fucked?
Yeah.
Except, well, we didn't fuck Remy and we didn't fuck Loram.
No. Well, what with him? Who would we know what to do there? Do we do that hole or that hole, or does he do that hole? What? I don't know.
Can we leave Emma behind? Can we
Yeah.
just, like, lock her in the office?
Yeah. Until death.
Yeah. Creepy
Well, let's
bitch.
just hope she doesn't have any political power
Yeah.
in this new one. Ugh. That was pretty good. We finally, except for the secret ending, got all of them.
Yay!
Which is great.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Kevin.
The sun. The sun rose once again and burned my face off.
Ouch, my eyes.
Kachuharu.
Wonder if his ice cream's doing well enough.
Oh yeah, we relocated him once and now he's gonna have to do it all over again.
Yeah. At least she's not dead now.
Yeah. Though her mother still is.
Yeah.
Is he blushing?
And he's not dead! We saved him! We saved Seb!
He probably could have done it sooner.
Probably!
Oh god.
Oh well.
Reza and Maverick. Anna with that weird looking picture.
Yeah. Wonder what the picture we've unlocked will be.
Huh.
This is long. Is it longer or am I kidding? Or am I being
I don't think it's any longer. The number of credits hasn't changed.
Okay. We're just getting pictures of everyone.
Yeah.
That hot. He has
Yeah, he definitely has eyebrows.
Why does he have eyebrows?
I don't know.
It was part of his disguise. No. I mean, little indication lines like that
yeah.
are fine, but eyebrows? Come on, they don't have eyebrows. They have browed eye. They have brows, not eyebrow. Jeez. Ugh. These pictures just still confuse me a great deal.
I think someone was a bit confused with the ear in that one.
Yeah.
Blurry logo for you.
Yep. I've been watching this at a low bit rate for 3 hours. Hey.
The tie, the goggles, the badge, the goggles,
The exum
the two
sphere.
goggles, and the sphere.
Aw.
The end.
The end.
Thank you for playing.
You're welcome.
It took us pretty much a year.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, since what, March?
A while.
A long while.
We started making plans for it in February.
Yeah.
You've seen the true ending.
Yay!
Oh? Does that mean that's it? That's all there is to see? Well, who knows? Either way, it might be a good idea to keep your save file. You know, just to be sure. Maybe it'll come in handy in the future.